So I have another quick update with more supporting information for this timeline. So I'll be referring to the dates in this chart. The first sign is the solar eclipse of the century. This is the longest lasting solar eclipse of the 21st century. The moon will block the sun for 6 minutes 23 seconds. In Joel 2:31 we see the sun turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord comes, and that day being the tribulation. Date the tribulation begins on the timeline until the solar eclipse is exactly 900 days. And 9 in the Bible symbolizes judgment and finality. Jesus died at the ninth hour after 3 hours of darkness. And working forward, we have the eclipse to the Great Tribulation date on the timeline, and that is 360 days, or exactly one prophetic year. So this eclipse is a 1 year warning before the Antichrist proclaims to be the Savior. Here I have those two calculations side by side to show you exactly what this eclipse did with the first half of the tribulation. From the beginning of the tribulation to the eclipse, that is exactly 900 days. Then from the eclipse to the Great Tribulation, we have that 1 year warning of 360 days. In my timeline video, I explained how important the Revelation 12 sign is and how the Great Tribulation date was determined using this sign. July 27, 2028 is 11 prophetic years from the Revelation 12 sign, which was on September 23, 2017. And 11 symbolizes disorder, chaos, and judgment. This time we see how the same eclipse divides the 11 years. The Revelation 12 sign to the eclipse is 3,600 days exactly, which is 10 prophetic years. Then, from the eclipse to the Great Tribulation, we have exactly one prophetic year. So, from the Revelation 12 sign to the Great Tribulation is exactly 11 prophetic years. I didn't have this information before because I wasn't aware of the eclipse, but now it further supports the Great Tribulation date. Now I'll show you dates related to the presidential election and how this same eclipse divides the time here. From the presidential election on November 5th, 2024 to the beginning of the tribulation on February 13th, 2025 is exactly 100 days. Then from the beginning of the tribulation to this eclipse is 900 days. I have a side-by-side comparison once again. From the election in November to the beginning of the tribulation is exactly 100 days. Then from the date the tribulation begins to the eclipse is exactly 900 days. And once again, the eclipse of the century has divided the time frame. This time it's 1,000 days. From the election to the eclipse is exactly 1,000 days. So with this one and the other two, we have three events that were divided by this one eclipse. Now we have the blood moon of the century, and that happened in 2018. It lasted for 103 minutes, which is the longest blood moon of the century. And again, Joel 2:31 says, "The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Lord comes." And that great day is the tribulation. The date of this blood moon, July 27, 2018, to the Great Tribulation date of July 27, 2028, is exactly 10 years, and it is a 10-year warning for the Great Tribulation. Now I'm going to show you some amazing dates regarding the pandemic. This virus was declared a pandemic on March 11, 2020. From the date this pandemic was declared until the date the tribulation begins on the timeline is exactly 1,800 days. 1,800 is 600 plus 600 plus 600, or 666. And next I'm going to show you two more dates with this pandemic. From the pandemic declaration until the end of the tribulation, when Satan is defeated at Armageddon, is exactly 12 prophetic years, 12 symbolizing completeness. And finally, from the date the pandemic was declared to the 1,335 days after the Great Tribulation, or Daniel 12:12 date, is 12 years and 12 days. This is the last day before the millennial reign of Jesus. So, using the 1335 days date in the timeline, we have March 23rd, 2032. And what's interesting is that Daniel 12:12 describes this same date of 1335 days after the Great Tribulation. Daniel 12:12 says, "Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1335 days." And that wraps everything up. Once again, this is a theory, but I can't deny this supporting information for these dates. I'd love your feedback. Thank you.